Hi, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. It is August 3rd, 2022. We're coming to you live. I'm in Los Angeles, 6 p.m. Pacific time every Wednesday, where we do our live show, the live Q&A with the JK Law Firm, where I talk about general education-based immigration law, U.S. immigration, taking your questions as they're popping up live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. So we're taking questions from a lot of places. People are joining in. Thank you as always. A couple quick notes before we start. We do have a free giveaway we give to the live watcher. So if you're watching a live show and you want to have a free video consultation, we set that up. All you got to do is like and subscribe and click and just write down consultation in the comment section. And my wonderful assistant will name someone off in 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and 30 minutes to say, hey, you got a live video consultation, and we'll set that up. We'll give you information then. Along with that, if you're interested in learning about a marriage-based case, a fiance-based case, the number one initial resource you should go to is a website called marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And that website will break down the whole process for you so you know what's going on before you make a decision about anything, before you go talk to the lawyer, have the proper information, to educate yourself, and that has it there. You'll get a lot of information there. Plus, we have a secondary channel called JQK Immigration Clips, and there's hundreds and hundreds of clips there that'll answer most of your questions. So we do everything we can to kind of just get the information you need right there before you even need to call an attorney. With that, let's get the show started. So one of the initial questions we get, something we get a lot, is how much you charge on Instagram to become, for citizenship, you have no criminal record. Well, you don't have fixed fees per se at our firm. We can do an initial review of each case first to see what's going on. Some people require less time, some people require more time. Criminal history is not the only thing we're focused on in naturalization. We really have to go back to your whole life from the beginning to now, because everything is going to be reviewed at the citizenship interview. So it's not just like recently, last year, last 5 years, what you've done. We got to learn the whole thing. And we spot issues many times that people didn't even know existed. So it becomes really important to see the whole thing. And then based on that, judge what level of services the person needs. So it's not something I just say is this much. We have to have an initial consultation first so I see what's going on in your case, and then we take it from there. We have a question on what website is it for the marriage immigration guide. It's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's that. First question, Lisa asks, how long is it taking to get travel documents for filing stage 2 and 3 of a work green card? So you mean travel documents, advanced parole. It means, I'm guessing you mean you're doing adjustment of status in the United States. I don't know what stage 2 and 3 is, but essentially when you apply for a green card Form I-485, you're going to file for advanced parole travel permission, as well as a work permit EAD with that application. How long is travel permission taking? Probably around 7 to 9 months. It's taking forever. Most of my cases have the green card approved before they ever even get the advanced parole nowadays, because advanced parole is taking so long, it's going past the green card case. But then again, it depends on what kind of green card you're getting, what country you're from, what kind of delays there are. So there's different factors that come into play here, but that's that. And the website, again, for the marriage immigration guide is marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's where you need to go to download the ultimate marriage green card guide. It's 40 plus pages of just breakdown of what the system is, what everything means. And so that could be helpful. And Lisa says, thanks. Thank you, Lisa. I just got in a rush right now. I was outside, out and about doing some stuff. So I got in like a minute, probably get a glass of water. But hey, we'll get through the half an hour, have a good time with it. Singh asks, hello, sir. Hello to you too. I applied for asylum, granted adjustment of status in July 2020, still waiting. Asylum granted. Okay, so you got asylum and you filed for adjustment of status based on asylum July 2020, still waiting. Yeah, unfortunately, adjustment of status based on being an asylee is really backed up and is lower priority. So those are taking longer than normal cases. Having filed 2 years ago, it's pushing on the long side. You can always try contacting the government. First things first, go to USCIS.gov to see what their estimated processing times are. That might give you an idea what's going on. If the timeline of your case has gone past that, then you should start contacting USCIS and getting congressional help or ombudsman's office or something like that. But in general, adjustment of status for asylees is delayed because they know you could be here and you have work authorization, so not that much of a rush. Getting adjustment won't necessarily be that different. That's their thinking. It's incorrect in my opinion, but that's what they're thinking. So they don't give it as much priority as other kinds of cases. We have a question. Why is on TikTok? Why is the Nebraska Service Center so slow in I-751? It's not just in the Nebraska Service Center. All of them are. And along with the answer to the previous question about why this asylum case taking, USCIS has prioritized based on its resources which cases get more attention. So the top two cases that USCIS focuses on is naturalization, citizenship, and adjustment of status, primarily family-based, so marriage or something like that. So if they have a I-751 case and a citizenship case and an employment-based adjustment or family-based adjustment, historically they would go citizenship priority with a marriage-based adjustment. They recently brought up employment-based adjustment just temporarily, so that's getting done faster. But I-751 is the lowest of them, that with like reentry permits or something like that, even I-90s, which are green card renewals. Those could be simple many times, but take forever. So I-751 is low in their opinion based on the Ombudsman's report from 2020. There's reports they put out. I have a different podcast and show that I do for immigration lawyers. This is for people who are regular people trying to get immigration status and the like. I also have programs where I train immigration lawyers, and part of that, I have to read a bunch of reports. And one of the reports is the 2020 Ombudsman's report. And in that, they said I-751s are delayed because they're low priority. In the mindset of USCIS, citizenship is this holy thing where people become American citizens that can vote. So it's very important. And adjustment of status, you need people to get the green card, live here normally. But if you have an I-751 pending its removal conditions based on having a 2-year marriage green card, what's the rush? You have your green card, you get an extension, you can live, work here, and travel. Why do you care? That's their thoughts thinking. Why do you care that it's taking so long? And so because of that, based on whatever in the report, that's what they're thinking is they give it low priority. It's not just Nebraska Service Center, it's all of them. But thank you for your question. 29 Super C, one of our long-time listeners, says, good night, Tony Kasrabi. I hope we're doing better. I'm hearing that there's a better movement of case laws that I really hope. So yeah, generally in the United States, within the U.S., things are moving faster. In general, it's getting better, very slowly, but it's getting better. Chef asks, attorney, can you explain U.S. Code 1429 waiver? First of all, immigration attorneys don't use the U.S. Code. What happens is there's the Immigration and Nationality Act, which also has a code section associated with it. But if you're gonna mention something, I need to know, like, I don't remember the code. I was like, okay, INA 245 or this and that. 9 USC, I'm looking up right, 8 USC 1429. I don't know, I have to see what it is. I don't remember my codes like that. So I don't have off the top of my head based on U.S. code. But if you maybe said the INA, I would have known. But I can't look it up in the middle of the show. But thanks for your question, anyways. Justin asked, do you think Jadu is all talk, no action, just blaming on COVID? Jadu is the new head of USCIS. It's a bureaucracy at the end of the day. There's a lot going on with politics and stuff. So who knows if they have any power? You got to have very strong will and connections. And the thing about immigration is if you come in and try to help the immigrants, you're not going to win any political points. You're just going to make enemies. So, it's politics, and it's just what we're dealing with. C user says, hi, Attorney Castro, hi to you too. I'm going to go look at Instagram. I think we got a couple of questions on here. Let me go back in time a little bit, see if I missed anybody. And thank you for being patient. I Am King says, is it safe to come through the border illegally to join your already married citizen spouse? No, you should not break the rules. I just asked, how long is it taking for siblings over 21 immigration? Those take 10 to 20 years, depending on what country your siblings born in. Carnell asks, how long before your green card expires should you start doing paperwork for citizenship? There's not necessarily an association with your green card expiring and when you should file citizenship. You should file citizenship, one, when you can, secondly, when you want to. Some people don't want to get citizenship, so they don't get it. Some people want to, but they haven't been a green card holder long enough, or they have some sort of issues or history in their past that prevent them from getting citizenship. So you should start, talk with a lawyer, really, just to know what's going on and what you should be thinking about for that. That's the best way to do it. Talk with an attorney in private. Thank you for the question, Carlina. And okay, next question. Singh says, sir, how long is it going to take? More answer, please. My case is at Nebraska Service Center. That's not up to me how long your case is going to take. It's going to take how long the government wants it to take, unless you file a lawsuit and force the issue. I'm not sure if a lawsuit is appropriate in your case, but I don't know what to tell you. That's just unfortunately the situation. You could always try suing them, but I don't have the answers to that. And Justin says, thank you for answering my questions. Appreciate it. You're welcome, Justin. I wish I had a better answer for you. Then they don't care, but that's the reality. Keep it real. We have a new question. Times SP said, am I supposed to get an update on my case? Fingerprints were taken after my biometrics appointment. When you have a immigration case pending with USCIS, you could connect with their online system that's supposed to give you updates. Well, part of some cases, you have to get a fingerprint appointment. When you do afterwards, it says they'll update it and say fingerprints were taken. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes when your case approved, they'll send you a notice saying your case approved. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Other times you just get the notice in the mail. So with regards to what you're supposed to get, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's not really as supposed to. Hopefully you get it, but it's just the government. It's not reliable. And so just be mindful of your case. Just make sure you get the mail and everything like that. But take it from there. Card says, thank you for entering. Wait. Uzi asked, do you take VAWA cases? So historically, I did not take VAWA cases, but we expanded our firm and added more services. So if the facts of your case are good, we may potentially get a VAWA case. A VAWA case is called a Violence Against Women's Act. These are people who have been in abusive relationships with U.S. persons. Their spouse was a U.S. person, green card holder, citizen, and potentially they get a green card. And a lot of exceptions and waivers that automatically come with it. So if you're interested, email the office, info@jklaw.com. I'd have to connect you with my associate. There is a consultation fee, but they can talk to you and break down what's going on with your case and decide on what the best route is. But we are handling VAWA cases on a case-by-case basis. Farhad asked, F4 visa, I-130 is approved. I applied for the rest of the question isn't there. F4 preference categories for brother, sister of a U.S. citizen. That case takes 10 to 20 years, depending on what country the sibling is born in. Takes forever. Even the initial petition being approved itself doesn't make a difference for the case. It's when your place in line comes up, and that's based on a larger calculation. I'm not sure if I can get into right now. I got a bunch of videos on it, but it's a longer explanation. Mohammed, actually, we got a couple questions. So where are we next, Katrina? Okay, Rutvi asks, can my spouse come visit with a visitor visa while the I-130 is processing? Yes, I just have a case actually from Pakistan where the wife had an I-130 case pending, and she even got a tourist visa and came here. Now, typically, immigration attorneys will tell you it's impossible to get a visa when you have an I-130 pending, but she got it, and then they'll say they're not going to let you in the United States, and she came in. So it is possible to get a visa. It's possible to come in with fee, but it's not up to me. It's up to the person at the embassy if they need to get a visa. In this case, they already have a visa, and it's up to the officer of the airport how strict they want to be. If they want to hassle you about it and say, hey, I'm afraid you're actually going to come and file for adjustment of status. We don't trust you. We're going to send you back to your home country. So it depends on the facts and the officer they get. So can they? Yes, but I'm not in charge of allowing your spouse in, so never know. Wow, 617 already. So we did announce one winner already, haven't we? I think we haven't. So let me, Ruth VR, winner for the free consultation. Please take a screenshot of where you're watching this so I know it's you and your username's there somewhere to show the app you're watching it in, and email to me at info@jqklaw.com for those just catching it. We have 2 more consultation giveaways. I was talking a lot, 617 already, but we give away 2 more free ones. All you got to do is like and subscribe and write consultation in the message box, and we'll choose 2 more people before the show ends. And also, if you're interested in learning about marriage, green cards, marriage, immigration, fiance cases, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. It's a free guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. So let's go to Instagram. Jay's asked, my case status at the NBC National Visa Center says I got a message CX saying I was documented qualified July 11th. Essentially, they upload their documents to the National Visa Center. It was documented qualified. They're asking when is the interview going to happen. That's up to your local embassy. Maybe 1 month, maybe 1.5 years, 2 years. It really depends on when your embassy is going to schedule you. Akash asks, please tell me the benefits of a 10-year green card after marriage. There's not much benefits. You just have to get a 10-year green card. If you got a 2-year green card, you have to apply for the 10-year green card, or else you're just going to lose status and they're going to deport you from the United States. There's no additional benefits other than the fact that we renew every 10 years, and that's about it. Mohammed Moy asks, hi brother, how are you working, Mohammed? I applied for my wife's I-130 F2A, prior date March 2019, document qualified, Islamabad Embassy, woman interview babes. Yeah, so that's the thing, Islamabad, I'm not sure when the interview is going to happen. That's a long time ago. It's only a year and a half. Your documents are qualified. But Islamabad is really backed up. It's one of the worst backups there is. And a lot of people watching this show are from South Asia. And those are the worst embassies right now in some timeline. I get this a lot. Unfortunately, unless you have some sort of emergency situation that we could prove, or if there's some disaster happening, there's not much going to happen. Just got to wait, Mohammed. Sorry about that. You can always try to contact the embassy. Maybe they lost your case. Just, give a shot. But most likely, you just got to wait longer. Ustin asks, does it make any difference when you file for N400 online versus mail? Does online process faster? No, there's no evidence that the online necessarily process faster. I don't file things online. I don't like the online system. It's too glitchy, in my opinion. But it's up to you. I just, all I can say is I don't touch the online system. You go by paper. That way they have a paper copy and they scan it and it's online. They do it on their own. So if you do by paper, they have two versions of it, online and paper. If you file online, they only have one version. Would you rather have two copies of your file with USCIS as a backup, or would you have just one online file? That's enough for me to say, hey, why not just send them by paper, have them scan it, put that scan online, and have two different versions, so I have two backups. That just makes not logic to me, but a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't know that. Justin asks, and why attorneys promote? I said, okay, I explained that. Akash says, hello, sir. Good to see you, Akash. Tammy, I was adopted in 1976. I have the old I-551, so it's obsolete. Can I get a new updated one free? I don't know if it's free. You probably have to pay a fee, but you got to be very careful because not most of the time, but a lot of times when people got their immigration status based on adoption, the adoption paperwork was not done correctly. So right now, if you apply for something like that, if you don't have the proper adoption for immigration-based paperwork, they might just take your green card away and deport you. So now, if you came in 76, there's a thing on registry that may apply to you. It gets complicated. But this is, I can't give individual legal guidance. I doubt it's free. You probably have to pay the renewal fee for an I-90. Usually file for citizenship in a case like this. I'm not sure why you wouldn't have filed for citizenship in the last 50 years. But having said all that, you should first review and make sure your case is properly granted with your green card. I wouldn't want to rock the boat until I know what's going on there. Going to take some Instagram questions. Dixon says, I have a pending I-751. I applied for my citizenship because my timeline was ready. Apply to citizenship January. When will I have my interview? And will they be at the same time? When you have an interview, it depends on the USCIS field office and when they have time. And will they both at the same time? Yes. If the I-751 is still pending and you get an officer that's trained to do both. James says, my case at the NBC, we already answered that. I'm in Colombia. So yeah, Colombia is a little backed up. Probably going to take a year from what I hear recently. So you're probably going towards next year. Hopefully that changes. Let's go back to the other sets of questions. Ruth said, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're welcome, Ruth. Look forward to talking. Tammy says, can a permanent resident be sent back? Yeah, they'll take away your permanent residency, then they'll send you back. So first they revoke it, undo it, void it, and then do deportation removal. Or rescind it in some sort of way. C user says, does the time spent in the USA as a green card holder under 18 for a child count for naturalization? If that time is 5 years before 18, can they apply to age 18? I'm not sure what your question is. If you're under 18, you can't file for citizenship because you'll get citizenship based on the parent that you got your status through. If you're above 18, yeah, they'll look, I think it's about 21 or something like that, but they'll look at the last 5 years. I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to get at in your question, but if you're interested in the timelines for citizenship, I did an in-depth video on YouTube. Just type in JQK Law Citizenship Timeline. It really breaks out all the timeline issues with regard to a 5-year case, citizenship case. It's very thorough. I would say check that out or have a private consultation with an attorney. I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to get at in this situation, so I want to be cautious in any answers I give. Justin says, card and people can file citizenship past 3 years if married, if not I-751. Can't people file citizenship post 3 years of marriage? I'm not sure exactly what you're saying, Justin. Please try to reword it. Facebook user says, how long can USCIS take? Are they allowed to take over the processing time? We're just supposed to keep waiting. Yeah, you sue them, but if barring a lawsuit, they could take forever. There's cases that should be done 3 months, have gone 10, 15 years. I've seen people come to me and it's still pending. Mohammed says, thank you. You answered. I have an N400 interview at this month. I'm concerned about my wife's case and any delay. Yeah, I got to see what's going on, but I wish you all the best and congrats on getting your interview. Hopefully you ace it and get your citizenship soon. CUC user says, can a TN visa holder switch to the green card as a dependent spouse? Can that person do adjustment of status or they have to consular? This is too specific. So can they potentially, yeah, you can do adjustment of status as a dependent. That's all doable. But there's issues with regard to intent. There's issues with regard to previous violations, how the adjustment's coming. Can the person? Yes. In the world, yes, there are people who do this. There's people who can. There's people who can't. Whether your case or the case you're talking about is the person who can, it really depends on all the facts of the case. So it's not something I can just jump in and answer just like that here. So, C user, generally yes, but we got to know what's going on in your specific case before we can answer that. But thank you for your question. Let me do a quick look at Instagram. Wait, Uzi asks, if I file a VAWA case based on extreme cruelty and get divorced based on cultural differences, does it contradict my VAWA case? When you get divorced, you don't have to say necessarily what your divorce is based on cultural differences. You can say whatever you want to say. If you're a victim of abuse and stuff like that, you may not want to openly say that because the partner may abuse you. So it depends on the facts. So I can't really tell you what's going on. Get to see the whole thing. But at the same, they know that people who are in abusive relationships can't easily just openly talk about the abuse because it causes the abuser to get more. So there's always explanations if that's true. You haven't make stuff up. But if in most of the U.S., most of the world nowadays, there's no fault divorce. You don't have to get into the explanation. Just file for divorce. But I'm not a family law attorney. You should talk with a family law attorney in private before making a decision on that. Feed Your Face says, hey, Mr. John, my case status at the National Visa Center, and I got a message on CX and document. Okay, answer that question through Instagram. You just gotta wait, unfortunately. And you're in Colombia, probably gonna take a year to get that done. So yeah, the delays at the embassy are pretty bad. The State Department has said that they're hiring a whole bunch of new people that are coming on board in a couple months. But it takes a while to get these trainings. So I spoke earlier about a separate podcast and program I have where it's intended for immigration professionals. And one of those, I was interviewing a former consular officer, and I was talking about how it was and how he viewed cases and marriage cases and fraud and stuff like that. And he said, and I've talked with people for USCIS too about the same thing. And it's pretty consistent. When they get out of their training, when people come and talk to them, they're first of all, they're slower because they're new at it, obviously, and they make a lot more mistakes, but they also accuse more people of fraud because they make it sound like everyone's trying to lie about marriage, which is not the case. Really, people get married. There's fraud in there. Frankly, the fraud stuff is usually easy to see. It's just like people are not too bright when it comes to fraud and they make it really obvious. The officer said, and again, I've talked to several officers said thing, when you first start, they make it sound like everything's fraud. So you're really, getting everybody. But after years of doing it, you realize, no, it's not fraud. People are just different. And there's different fact patterns. So an officer that's there the first day, as opposed to the officer that retires 10 years later, are completely different perspectives on how to handle a marriage immigration case, how quickly they can get it out, which ones take longer, this and that. So it's an unfortunate thing, but it's experience. So that is a delay. So when these new officers come, things are going to slow down because they got to get training. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be errors. It's going to be a mess. But it is this bureaucracy. It's just how it goes. You have a question here. Can you share the best and worst experiences you had this week? That's an interesting question. I think TikTok asked that. That's a good way to put it in there. I think we have some other questions potentially in here, but okay, we'll jump on that. And Machad says, hi, sir. Best and worst experiences. Well, the worst, I just got really tired last week doing a lot of work, so I'm just been sleepy a lot. The best experiences, we got an approval. There was this one case where a guy did his green card case himself, went to the embassy. It was denied 6 years ago. He called me and I told him how to fix it. But because it was denied, it took 5 years to get it out of the system and correct it. That's one of those reasons you should talk to the immigration attorney. I could have prevented the problem that he had and saved 5 years of him and his family's lives. It's very devastating. But he took my advice, fixed up the stuff, and it came back to me. And we got the case done like this. And it was approved immediately after the embassy interview. Monday, they got the visa. Finally, the family's going to get back together. So that was a really good one. 5 years. I remember the guy called me. I told him what to do on the phone. Fred, so do this. It's going to take a while now because they did. But to fix it, you got to do this. And when he fixed the stuff, I told him 5 years later, he contacted me again. It took me like a minute to remember who he was. But then I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember this case. And he got his green card. It was a good thing. It's fantastic. So I was really happy. That's you help people fix their lives up and get together, really reunite families. It's really important. That was a sad thing that they're separated for so long. Feed Your Faith asks, will the status change at the embassy to ready, or will it stay that even if they get the interview scheduled? So once your interview is scheduled, the embassy notice will just say interview scheduled maybe, and then you do your interview. Either you're approved and it'll say visa issued, or it'll say refused, which means either you're denied or you're in administrative processing. At the end of the day, at this point, this doesn't matter. Just wait for the interview notice and then see what happens at the interview. I wouldn't worry about reading into stuff too much for a regular person. It doesn't really help you that much. Alimar says, thumbs up, cheerly. Well, thank you so much, Almara. Appreciate that, your kind words. And with that, I think we're going to be ending the show pretty soon. I started late, so I might stay on a couple more minutes if people have some more questions. But yeah, the immigration system is a difficult process. It's heart-wrenching. You see really sad stuff. You see happy stuff. But it's a great pleasure to be able to work in this field. especially when you can do good. In most of my cases, almost all the time, the type of case, because I don't go to court, immigration court, you have a high denial rate. I don't deal with immigration court and deportation. Essentially, it's like almost perfect approval rating. It's just my job is to, first of all, get it approved, because sometimes, as I said, the gentleman did it on his own, it was denied. But my job is not only to get it approved, but to make it as fast as possible, as clean as possible, so USCIS doesn't have questions, to catch red flags and issues before it happen. For example, people, it seems like half of my clients nowadays have errors on their birth certificate, and they don't realize it until the time of filing. We catch that before the government finds out, so we can fix it, get a new birth certificate issued, clarify it, get additional documents to prove that the birth certificate is correct, even though it has errors on it, this and that. And that causes things to go faster once it's submitted, and prevents a denial. So that's just one of the many things we try to catch. There's another case where this guy, well, there's several that I've had in the last couple of months where they've been married to U.S. citizens, who the U.S. citizens had to go work for U.S. government overseas. And because of that, they file for U.S. citizenship immediately and become a citizen after they got the green card. And they didn't know that, and they're just like trying to think about removal of conditions and 2 or 3 years from now getting citizenship, this and that. And I'm glad they contacted me, and I told them, yeah, there's this nuanced law that's like a footnote. It's not a footnote, but it's not everyone knows about it because it's not that regular. That can really change your life and change the game. So that's something to keep an eye out. Just talk with someone with experience. Felicia says, "Good evening, sir. What does it mean on the USCIS website when it says your name was updated 6 hours ago? It just means you updated your name. There must have been some sort of typo or error on your name. You contacted them to correct it, and they corrected it. That's pretty much it." All right. With that, I think we're going to call it a night. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. It's always a pleasure being here. I'll be back again next Wednesday time to take your questions every 6 p.m. Wednesday. Maybe I won't be here. I might have a kid. I might have my 3rd kid born next week or the week after, so might cancel the show. Who knows? But we'll see. But I do want to thank everyone for joining. I hope I'll be here with the baby in hand. It'll be a lot of fun. Until next one, God bless. Be safe. I'll see y'all. Bye.